Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. I'm Terra Harvell, founder and CEO of Harvell Hair Co., a hairstylist turned multimillionaire. Over the past decade, I've scaled a multi-million-dollar, highly profitable salon and built an 8-figure extension and education platform, Harvell Hair Co. I'm also the founder of Strata Salon Systems, a salon infrastructure that is actively disrupting this industry. Some people love me for it, and some people absolutely hate me for it. But I'm on a mission to give stylists and salon owners a different future than what this industry has historically offered, which is being overworked, underpaid, no real wealth, and a career that breaks your body with nothing to show for it at the end. And now I'm on a mission to expand that impact through owners and stylists who are willing to question everything that they've been told. This podcast is where I share what's actually working, from business strategy to leadership to building real wealth in the beauty industry. Let's go. Okay, so I've been called a mean girl for saying this. So let's just get that out of the way at the top of this podcast, because here's the thing. If you would actually hear me out and listen to the context of what I'm saying about this subject, you might even change your mind. And if you don't, you're probably not someone that I even want in my audience, because this is not mean girl. It's just the truth, and it's business, and it's something that we should all look at and listen for. This isn't about tearing anyone down. This is about protecting your money and your investment as a business owner, your time and your business from people who talk like they have done it when they have not. Let's talk about the salon coaching world and why you need to be a lot more careful in it than you probably are being right now. Listen, I know that there are a lot of emotions as a salon owner. There are emotions around the people leaving or staying, around the money that you pay them. There's just a lot that goes into being a salon owner. And I know that because guess what? I am one, and I've been one for a decade. So I get it. When you see this beautiful Instagram post about how you can give 70% uncapped commissions to your, which that sentence doesn't even make sense now that I say it out loud, but that's what the post said. And you see that out on Instagram, it is really, really easy for you to want to, oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Please, I'll comment the word below and I want to be a part of whatever you're saying. But there's so much risk to that. And there's so much risk to just seeing something on Instagram that tugs at your heartstrings and thinking, yes, that is my answer. Do your research. That's all I'm asking. And here's the thing. If you do your research on that post that you saw and you liked what you saw, that is your decision. But I want to talk to you about that research. So here's where I want to start, because I think it matters more than anything else I'm about to say. I did not start coaching salon owners the day that I just felt inspired. I did not start coaching salon owners the day that I hit a good month. I started coaching salon owners once I had years of consistent revenue, consistent profitability, and real numbers I was willing to show, like actually show my P&L. I do that in all of my classes. I actually take out my real most recent P&L and I show it to the room. I don't just talk about it in theory. Salon ownership is not a highlight reel. It is not just a screenshot of a single great week that you have and you decided to coach everyone. It is actual provable performance. And I still hold myself to that standard today. I pay real money. I pay real millions of dollars over the years for my own coaching and consulting. But here's the line that I will never cross. I will not be consulted or taught or coached by someone who doesn't actually run the business at the level that I'm trying to run mine. I will not take advice from someone who hasn't already built or isn't even currently running the kind of success I'm working toward, or have never even done it ever. This is something I'm seeing now, and it is the most crazy thing that I've ever seen. It's not arrogance. It's just basic due diligence, you guys. This is just business. You don't take flying lessons from someone who's never even left the ground, right? Like, that would be super scary. Ask these 3 questions to any coach, any program, or any expert before you hand over your money to them. 1, have they ever actually owned a salon? Not worked in one, not managed one for someone else, owned one, carried the lease, made the payroll, hired and fired, sat with the P&L at 11 p.m. wondering how you're going to cover the next week's expenses. 2, have they had a salon in the last 10 years? And this one trips people up because they say, well, they used to own a salon 10 or 15 years ago and they sold it, but they've never actually told you what that sale looks like. And they owned it before commission structures have shifted, before the labor market has changed, before social media became half of your marketing budget, before extensions, before memberships, before the entire retail landscape has moved. Owning a salon in 2011 doesn't qualify someone to coach you in 2026, people. It does not. The industry has changed underneath their feet, and they haven't been in the trenches recently. They're coaching from memory, not reality. 3, they have never actually shown you their numbers. You have never seen their P&L. They're just telling you theories. Not a testimonial, not a we scaled to 7 figures slide with no context. Their profitability, their stats, the real proof of what happened when they had a salon. Not just the revenue number, which means almost nothing on its own, but the margin underneath it. If a coach fails at even one of these 3, that's a flag. It's a huge red flag. If they fail at all 3, you need to ask yourself, what exactly are you paying for? I once knew a salon coach that sent me their P&L because they needed help, and they were 6% profitable, and they have a full-blown coaching and consulting company. I can't get that out of my head. I see this happening all the time. I get consulting clients constantly who are coming out of other coaching programs. And here's a pattern I see almost every single time. It's not a coincidence. It's a pattern. The coach never had a salon, or they had one so long ago. It doesn't reflect the business as it exists today. And the coach that they had gave them a bunch of advice that put them in a hole, a profitability hole that we had to help them climb out of, a structural hole. They've even recommended people to go expand before they were actually ready. And these are the messes that me and my consulting company clean up every single day, because we're in the trenches with them. We're owning multiple salons. We are building multiple salons. We're building from the ground up. You can't get advice from someone who isn't actually doing it themselves. It just isn't a thing. Prove me wrong, please. And the mess that I inherit is just not small, because the commission models that sound generous on paper is quietly bankrupting these businesses, and they're going under if they don't turn things around. And they have policies that were copied from a template and no understanding of why they even exist in the first place. Structural problems that took years to build and take months to unwind. That's not theoretical. That's not me being dramatic for just a podcast. That's client after client that we have inside of Strata Salon Systems. But the good news is we're helping them turn those things around. And I want to be clear about something, because this is the part that actually concerns me most. This isn't really about bad information. It's about advice that sounds real, but that was never tested against a real current business. So imagine a coach goes and tells you to do something and run a play that they never even ran themselves. Maybe they have some salon owner friends, and maybe they even have clients that pay them, and they're like, hey, I ran this on paper in my fancy little spreadsheet, or my AI calculator that I produced yesterday on Claude, and I think the numbers check out, so you should go try it out. Like, are we getting the pattern here and how dangerous this can be for the industry? And yet we sit back often and we wonder why this industry has so many problems and why salons are not profitable. Here's the piece of this that actually irks me the most, and I want to say it plainly. 99% of the problems inside of your salon, and if you are a salon owner, you will totally agree with me, come from people. They come from the stylist. They come from leadership or lack thereof. And it comes from whether you can paint a vision, whether you can help someone understand why working at your salon is the choice that they should be making over every other option that they may have. And that is the job. That is the hard part of owning a salon. Full stop. Everything else, the pricing, the marketing, the processes, even though those things can be kind of overwhelming to salon owners, those are easy, you guys. But leading people to actually grow a massive team and grow a salon and scale through people is something that is the biggest problem and the biggest holdup. And so here's my question. If a coach can't show you how they solve that inside of their own business, how exactly are they going to teach you how to solve it inside of yours? Think about what most of these coaches are actually running. Being a coach is their business right now. That's the whole model. Content, courses, calls. And if they have a team at all, look at who's on it. Almost always it's admin. Maybe it's a few marketing. They have a social media girl that's running their Instagram in the background, filming podcasts like this, acting like they know what the hell they're talking about. It's someone running their funnels and editing their reels. It's very rarely a team of stylists that they are leading day to day through actual problems stylists bring into a salon. Building revenue through services, they are not leading the same type of team. That distinction matters more than almost anything else in this conversation. Managing a marketing coordinator is not the same skill as leading a stylist who just found out her friend down the street is making more money on a worse book. Coaching a VA through a task list is not the same as sitting across from someone who's burnout, comparing herself to strangers on TikTok, and deciding whether she still wants to do this for a living. And that's the other half of it. Stylists today are hearing something completely different than the stylists 10 years ago. The messaging they're absorbing on all this social media that we have in front of our face, they have so much comparison. The culture, all of it is moving in real time. And a coach who isn't in a salon leading real stylists through today's version of these conversations is not equipped to tell you how to have them, even if they are capable of making some bullshit up on the fly. Not a thing, guys. They might have been in those shoes once, but not anymore. It is not the same game these days in 2026. So when I see someone making reels about how you should be leading your team, coaching your stylist, painting the vision, and I know they are not doing that themselves, and in a lot of cases never even did at the level that they're now teaching, I don't understand why stylists are listening and why salon owners are listening to that. I'm not saying that to be cruel. I'm just saying it because the advice sounds right. It's confident, it's well produced, and it's coming from someone who has not sat in the seat that they're coaching you to sit in. That gap is exactly where bad advice comes from and why so many salons are in danger. Strata salon systems get so many leads from salon owners who have been coached and spent thousands of dollars through other coaching programs. And I tell, the coach that I have on the phone with them, which by the way, has been a salon owner. She's bought and sold a salon. She's led a team of stylists. So I'm not just even having salespeople answering my phone calls. These are real people that have been in the trenches. And she always asks the question, what are the results that you've had from all of this coaching that you've had all these years? And they cannot answer the question. And they talk about, I have a SOP for hiring and firing and all of these things. But she's like, no, I want real tangible results. Like, what are the results? What's the profitability? What are the stats? And people can't answer that have been coached by these companies and these coaches that have never even owned a salon. And this is why I'm making this podcast. You can call me bitter if you want, and maybe I am. I just want this industry to freaking win. And I'm picking out the problems as to why it's not winning. If someone's going to teach you how to lead people, the bar should be simple. Are they leading people right now in the way that you're telling, in the way that they're telling you to lead? And here's the part that makes this whole thing almost embarrassing when I say it out loud. Think about how you hire. When you bring someone into your salon, you ask for a resume. You might even want some experience. In my salon, that's not always important. But I for sure want them to have a license in the thing that I'm hiring them for. So you could call that experience, you could call that a license, whatever you want to call it. But if you're hiring a stylist, you don't skip over those things. You have to require it. No license, no chair, no conversation. That's a non-negotiable. You wouldn't let someone touch a client's hair without proof that they're actually qualified to do it. You wouldn't even, most of the time, let those stylists on the floor without the training programs that you have inside of your salon. But then a lot of salon owners will turn around and pay a coach thousands of dollars, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, who has done none of that. No resume that matches what you're hiring them for. No salon ever in their history of ever on their resume. And if they did, maybe it was years ago. But guys, I want you to understand, people coach because they can make more money doing that sometimes than owning a salon. They see a gap in the industry. And that's what's crazy is they show up on social media and they say, I saw a gap. So now I have this coaching company. And I don't get that. I have a really hard time swallowing that pill. And some of you guys wouldn't even accept no experience from a $17 an hour front desk hire. And yet this is exactly what's happening at the top of a lot of salon owners' P&Ls, with far more money on the line with paying these coaches and spending money on them. Just think about how asinine all of that really is when you lay that out that plainly. You have a higher bar for the person answering your phones than you do for the person directing your entire business strategy. That's not a knock on you. It's just what happens when marketing is good enough to bypass the questions you'd normally ask. When people can produce these beautiful videos and convince you and tug at your heartstrings and your emotions that you're struggling with of being a business owner, and you're like, whoop, I'm going to click the button, I'm going to go into their funnel, and I'm going to buy whatever they're selling. Have some control, salon owners. Understand what you're getting yourself into. I want to zoom out for a second because this isn't just something I've noticed in our corner of the world and the salon industry. This is a documented pattern across the entire coaching industry. Business coaching has no licensing requirement. Anyone could call themselves a coach tomorrow morning. There's no bar to clear, no board to answer to, no minimum standard of experience required before someone starts charging you for their opinion. And because there's no gatekeeping, the industry has developed some very predictable red flags. The same ones show up whether we're talking about salon coaching, general business coaching. Thanks to AI, we can make a course about anything. I could know not shit about anything and go make a course on it today. Here's a few things worth knowing. Coaches who lead with credentials instead of results, when someone opens with their certifications instead of their numbers, that's usually because the numbers aren't the strongest part of the pitch. So just listen to what I said. They lead with their credentials, not the results that they produce. So coaches who talk about revenue and quietly skip over the profitability part, or they talk about the profitability through a few people that they've been able to coach. A big top line number means very little if you don't know what it costs to produce it. We did 7 figures is not the same sentence as we kept 30% of that 7 figures. The other thing is coaches who guarantee the outcome before they've ever even diagnosed your business. Nobody who actually runs a business promises you a result before they've looked under the hood. That's not confidence. That's a sales script, you guys. And coaches who can't or won't show you an unflattering case study. Every real operator has had a bad quarter, a bad hire, a location that didn't work. If someone's track record is a highlight reel with 0 friction in it, that's not a track record. That is just pure marketing, you guys. None of this means every coach without a certification is a fraud, or every confident coach is lying to you. It means the burden of proof sits with them, not with you. And right now, too many salon owners are extending trust that hasn't ever been earned. I want to say this next part gently because I don't think falling for this makes anyone foolish. A lot of salon coaches sells to the emotion, not the result. I once attended a salon owner retreat with like 200 salons, and we literally walked across a lawn with mouse traps, blindfolded. It makes me laugh talking about it now, but he had this huge emotional lesson after we did this, right? And it took for hours, like hours of the day. It took almost half of one day. And I just remember thinking to myself, I flew myself and my team out to, I think it was in Palm Springs, and we spent half the day running across a turfed lawn with mouse traps, blindfolded, barefoot, mind you. And this is what's happening out there. They tug at your heartstrings. They really talk about the emotional things that you're probably feeling, and it sells you. It sells you every single time until you learn to gain control and you learn to not lead with emotion. After all, my mentor tells me that there are no emotions in business. It is, and if there is, it's only celebration. And so don't bring your emotion into purchasing something. And when you buy this way, it sells you a sense of confidence, belonging, being part of something, and being told that you're just finally understood. And when you're exhausted and isolated and running a business that feels harder than anyone told you it would be, that emotional relief feels like progress, which is crazy to me. I see this happening all the time, though. But relief is not the same thing as a result. Feeling motivated for a month is not the same as your commission structure actually working for you and turning a profit inside of your business. And feeling seen in a Facebook group or in some sort of community is not the same as your margins actually improving and fixing the data inside of your business. And the people who prey on this know exactly what they're doing. They're not selling you a system. They're not selling you a feeling. A feeling don't show up on a P&L, guys. It's not a thing. So here's what I actually want you to do before you invest in any coach, mine included, by the way. Ask to see the real numbers, not a highlight. Profitability, not just revenue. If they can't show margins, ask why. And when they last owned or operated the kind of business they're coaching you on, get a year, not a decade, a specific year. How long ago was it? Ask who they lead right now, today. If someone is teaching you how to manage stylists, ask how many stylists they currently manage, not employees in general. If the honest answer is, well, I have a marketing coordinator and a VA that helps me, that's your answer. There's your red flag, and just respectfully decline. Ask for one story about something that didn't work. If everything they've ever touched was a win, that's not a track record. That is just a script that they're selling you. If they never get on social media and talk about their failures, huge red flag. Notice the pressure. If you feel rushed to decide, slow down and think about your purpose. Notice the pressure. If you feel rushed to decide and they're not openly answering questions, there's your sign. And trust the outcome over the applause. A coach's job is to move your numbers, not move your feelings. Feelings can follow. They shouldn't lead everything. And I'll say it one more time because I absolutely mean it. This isn't about tearing anyone down. This is about protecting the thing that salon owners are building. I'm a salon owner myself, and this is why it's so near and dear to my heart. You didn't work this hard to hand your decisions to someone who's coaching from a memory of an industry that just doesn't exist anymore. You get to ask for proof. You get to expect the same standard from your coach that you'd expect from anyone else that you paid real money to trust. That's not mean. That's just good business, you guys. And it's about time that this industry starts running on good business. I'll talk to you next time.